YouTube. What's up, baby? Back in this thing again with another review. This is Q's Insight. I am Cali, and today we're going to be talking about Moon Knight Episode 1, entitled The Goldfish Problem. Now, if you've been to this channel before, you already know how we do things. Started off with the premise, 3 favorite scenes, the grade, and then we on to the next one, right? So for Moon Knight Episode 1. We start off with the guy drinking water. Then he breaks this glass cup. Then he puts the glass shards in his sandals. Then he puts on the sandals and he starts walking. But we don't necessarily know exactly who this person is just yet. Then from there we go to Moon Knight waking up in his room. And we see that he locks himself to his bed. He also puts a circle of sand around his bed. And he puts tape on his home door. And I'm guessing these are all things to make sure that he is, doesn't leave. And if he does leave, then he would know. And what I mean by leaving is like when he sleep. So from there we go. Steven goes to work. And we find out that he's like kind of a loser. But we find out that he does have a date with a beautiful girl, and you're like, what? This don't make no sense. It don't add up. We also see him having a hard time with his job, as far as like his boss. You know what I'm saying? From there, we see him talking to a statue. It's like those people that be standing on the side of the streets and they act like statues and they're trying to get money or whatever. So it was like one of those dudes. So he's talking to this guy. After work, he's telling him about a lot of things, like, you know what I'm saying, just trying to fill him in on things that he's did for the day or whatever it may have been. And he tells this guy that he has a date with a girl, but he doesn't even remember asking the girl out. So that's weird, you know what I'm saying? Like, first of all that stuff in your room, you know what I'm saying? And then you don't even remember, you getting this date with this girl. Like, what's going on? So Steven then goes home. He locks himself to his bed again, etc. And it shows him, but basically he's trying to stay up for some reason. You know what I'm saying? He doesn't want to go to sleep, so he's trying to stay up. He's doing everything he can do to stay up. And then he finally does fall asleep, and when he wakes up, his jaw's dislocated, and he is in a different place. Like, as far as like, he's not in his room anymore. Like, he's like outside. It's daytime now. He's dressed, all this stuff like that. So it's like, like, what happened? How much time passed? Like, what's going on? Type stuff. Then we hear a voice talking to him. So I'm thinking like he must still be dreaming, right? Then we see like this tall, like mummy figure standing behind him. And then when he turns around, he doesn't see it. And then he turns back around, and then we see behind him, and it's not there anymore. And so we see Steven like going through his pockets, and he finds this scarab. A voice tells him to let Mark take over his body. And you're like, like, what? Who is Mark, bro? Like, what's going on? I don't understand this. And then, Steven turns around and looks up, and it's like it's like a house or whatever. And this guy, it's a civilian, you know what I'm saying, is looking out the window, looking at him. Steven waves at him, and then the guy waves back, and then another guy pops out the window with a gun, and then Steven's like, yo, I gotta, whatever. And then both of the civilians start shooting at Steven. And a voice in his head is telling him, run, da 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 da. So it's like, it reminds me of like Venom. You feel me? Venom and Eddie Brock. Then we see Steven going into the town like he goes further into the town to try to escape the shooters, and he tries to blend them with the crowd. And then we see this guy Arthur, And now we know that Arthur is the guy that was in the very beginning with the glass shards in the in his sandals. Um, and then we see the people of the town, and they almost are acting like Arthur is like a god. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of weird. You know what I'm saying? You don't know if Stephen is asleep. You don't know what's going on because it's weird. It's weird, man. And then we see Arthur actually judging people. He judges one good person, and they're allowed to go back to the crowd, and everything is good. He judges one person that's bad per se, and they end up dying. And it's like you're like, what is going on? You know what I'm saying? And then the people that were shooting Stephen, they report to Arthur, tell him like, hey, two of our people are dead. We've been trying to find a guy that did it, but we can't. And so, Arthur's like, you think the guy's still here? And they're like, yeah, we do. And then Arthur says something in some different type of language, and all the people that were there bow down, except for Stephen, because, he's not part of the people. So now, obviously, Arthur knows who Stephen is, and Arthur knows that, Stephen was the one that killed the people. So Arthur tries to run and escape, you know what I'm saying? Ends up getting into this truck, and just trying to escape. So he ends up hold on. I missed an important part. Okay. So Arthur tells Stephen, hey, give me the scarab and I'll let you go. Everything will be all right. Stephen tries to give the scarab to Arthur, but his body won't let him. Then he hears the voice in his head again telling him, hey, don't give that scarab to that guy. Don't do it. Don't do it or else you'll be in trouble. And so Stephen is still trying to give Arthur the scarab, but he can't. And just as things are about to go sideways, like the henchman of Arthur about to, like, take the scarab from him and everything like that, he blacks out. And when he blacks out, like, he wakes up like a minute later and he's standing up still. And somehow he has a scarab in his hand and his hands are bloody. And all the people that were around him trying to take trying to take the scarab from him, they're all beat up and laid out on the ground. And it's like, you're like, what? Like, what happened, bro? So anyways, he does end up like pretty much escaping. He gets into this van and he's driving down, he's leaving the town. He's driving down this hill. It's like a looping hill. And then the Arthur's men come after him. And then we see that they get closer. He still kind of speeds away, gets off. Then they get closer again. And then he blacks out. And then the people that were like after him are gone. Those sets of people. And then more people come in the car trying to follow him down the hill. They get close to him. He blacks out again. Same thing happens. But then this time, when he wakes up out of the thing, he's driving backwards. So it's like, you're like, what the, And then he ends up getting like down to the bottom of the hill. And I think the car runs out of gas. And then the other henchmen that are left, they catch up to him. And then there was like the scene as they were going down the hill earlier, there was like this truck that had logs. And it did a sharp turn because it almost hit Stephen while he was driving in his van. And all the logs fell off the back of the truck. So these logs have been tumbling for a while. So when they were at the bottom of the hill and, Stephen lost, the ability to drive because the gas ran out. And then the henchmen were down there, the ones that were left, and they were about to come get them. Those logs actually finished falling down the hill, and they end up falling onto the people, and then they end up dying. So after that, Stephen wakes up and he's at his house again, and he looks at his fish. He sees his fish has grown another fin. He's like, "Yo, what the heck?" So he takes the fish to, the pet store. Talks to the lady there. She's like, "No, all fishes have multiple fins. So you're wrong. You were here yesterday. Asked me about this." He's like, "Yo, I was here yesterday. I just woke up like, and I wasn't here yesterday, whatever." So he doesn't remember being there at that fish place. or at that pet shop. So then he realizes that it's like 7 o'clock and he has that date with the girl. So he's like, I gotta go, whatever, you know what I'm saying? He goes he goes to the date and where the little restaurant is, and then he's waiting for her to get there. She doesn't come. And then he calls her and she picks the phone. She's like, oh, now you want to call me? And he's like, yo, what are you talking about? We have a date. It's Friday. It's supposed to be at 7. And she tells him it's Sunday. And you stood me up and I'm done and lose my number and all stuff like that. And he's hurt by it. You know what I'm saying? He's kind of bothered by it. But he's like realizing that, yo, like he doesn't know what's going on. You know what I'm saying? He's losing track of time and he's losing like, you know, he's not understanding like what's going on when he blacks out. And he blacks out quite often. So anyways, he from there he ends up going home. And he is like looking around doing stuff and he sees like this little like trail on the ground, like as if something was being slid and it left a mark. And so he slides this table and he slides it to the point where the marks on the ground are. And he looks up and he sees on his like walling, on his wall, there's like this wooden panel that's like broken into. And he's like, yo, what the heck? So he goes up there, he opens it up, and he ends up finding a key with a card on it. And he ends up finding a cell phone. And in that cell phone, there's this girl named Layla. And she's been calling him for a long time, for like a month, I guess. And he has never got back to her. So what ends up happening is she calls after he finds the phone and he picks the phone. He's like, hey, you know, who's this? I don't know who you are. She's like, oh, you finally pick up. You got me worried about, you know, you and your life and everything like that. And I just didn't understand what was going on. Why did you do this to me? He's like, yo, I don't know like who you are. You know what I'm saying? I don't even know who Mark is. Why are you calling me Mark? And he got like really like worried when she called him Mark because the voice in his head told him earlier that to let Mark take over your body. So anyways, he gets off the phone with the lady. And he ends up, you know, going to work. Well, let me take that back. He gets off the phone with Layla. And then Steven hears a voice telling him to stop like searching for stuff. Stop trying to look into whatever you're going on. You know what I'm saying? Whatever you're finding out, stop it. And it's actually Mark this time. And Mark ends up scaring him. And Steven ends up running out of his building. But when he's running out, he keeps seeing that mummy figure as well. So not only is he seeing Mark, but he's seeing that mummy figure again. So he ends up leaving. He's going to work. And when he gets to work, you know, he gets off the bus and he ends up seeing Arthur again. Like he sees him inside of the bus. He's like, oh, like the guy was real, you feel me? So from there, he gets inside of his job and then he has a confrontation with Arthur. And Arthur tells him, like, you know, let me judge you, whatever. So he lets him judge him. And Arthur ends up telling him that, you know, you have chaos in you or whatever. And then like Steven ends up finding out that majority of the people that are working in that building actually work for Arthur. And so they're like not letting him escape and they're like, you know, whatever it may be. But after he does the reading on him or whatever, he's like, yeah, you have chaos in you. He's like, what the heck? And so like Steven runs and Arthur tells like him and his henchmen, you know, Arthur tells his henchmen like, let him go, let him do what he needs to do. And so he lets him go. And then like later on that night, there's a monster that comes to attack Steven, and it looks like Anubis kind of in a way. And so what happens is, as Steven is running away from this monster, Mark ends up telling him like, look, let me take over your body. I can handle this. If we need to survive, I got you. You know what I'm saying? So Steven ends up stop fighting Mark, and he lets Mark take over his body. And as he take over his body, you see that Mark becomes into Mark looks like Steven, but he after a while Mark becomes Moon Knight and he destroys the monster. And that's basically it, man. That's basically it. So, crazy first episode, man. I think this show, it's going to be weird, man. It's going to be crazy. I think it's going to be better than Hawkeye, but it's going to be weird, man. Three of my favorite scenes of this, man, would honestly be the passing out in the crowd, and then him waking up, and then him finding out that he beat up all those people, him passing out, and then my second favorite scene would be him passing out in the car, and then him handling them all the people and stuff like that as he was going down the hill. And then my third favorite scene would be when Mark took over and, you know, beat up that monster when he turned into Moon Knight. That was crazy, man. So those would be three of my favorite scenes. But like I said, this show is kind of crazy, man. I don't know what to think of it just yet. But the first episode I definitely liked. I'm going to give this one an 8 out of 10. So definitely watchable. Definitely watchable. Can't wait for the next episode. Hopefully get some more clairvoyance about what's going on, because this is so crazy. It's almost like they just kind of dump you into the season and kind of like make the episodes, first few episodes, kind of like you already know everything, even though you don't. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of weird, man. But I'm definitely digging it. I'm definitely digging it. If you guys saw the episode, let me know what you guys thought about it in the comments down below. You know, are you looking forward for the next episode? Are you confused like I am? Because I'm confused, bro. I don't know, and I don't know too much about the Moon Knight character just in general. So I don't know what's going on, but it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool, man. It's pretty cool. I'll definitely continue to watch it all the way through. You know. But yeah, man. You know, that's it, man. Just let me know about it in the comments down below. Are you enjoying the show so far? And are you ready for the next episode? And are you confused like me? Please remember to like, subscribe, and share. As always, this is Q's Insight. I am Callie. Until next time.